We're back! Hey, it's Matt here with EntertainmentBoo.com bringing you part 2 of EB's E3 recap. On the first episode, we focused on the big three, so we hit Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Today, we are going to talk about the rest, or what we call the big pubs. So the major publishers out there that infected the floor of the LA Convention Center last week at E3. So we're gonna talk about EA, Ubi, Activision, WB, Sega, Bethesda, 2K, Konami, Deep Silver, and if we have a little bit of time left over, I want to talk about a new headset from Astro. So without further ado, let's get our introductions out there. Again, I'm Matt Haywood, the Entertainment Buddha. We have Mr. Benson's from across the pond. How you doing there, 10?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good. Hello, everyone.
Lovely. Cheerio. We also have the Wu-Tang Clan doing what clams do over there in Westchester. How you doing there, Raymond?
I'm good. I'm good.
Fantastic. Skate or die. And then we have Anna down there in sunny Florida enjoying a nice day off, and she's taking some time out of her day off to talk to you all. So thank you, Anna. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Fantastic. I'm doing swell. In fact, I'm doing so awesome that I took my pants off for this episode.
What?
Exactly. I'm going pantsless for this cast. So
this is the first time I've ever been excited we don't record together.
Yes. Yeah, because you definitely want to see what I look like right now, because it's something special. Anyway, so like I said, we're going to talk about the big publishers that are E3 showing off their new wares. I want to start with EA just because they kind of had a press conference on Monday. So EA, they had a few games to show off, really nothing mind-blowing. I mean, they didn't really have any big reveals. Obviously, the starting the show off with Star Wars Battlefront was fantastic. I definitely popped wood on that one when I saw the DICE team going to all the locations from the movie to get assets and blah, blah, blah. But they didn't really show a shit about the game or say anything about it, so it's nothing we can really talk about. I don't know about you guys, but were you expecting to see more Battlefront?
I was expecting to, well, yeah, I was definitely expecting to see some actual gameplay footage. I mean, I know that one of the cutscenes, like rendered in-game engine, that old chestnut they like to, oh, it was rendered in the game engine.
Yeah.
So, this means it's game footage, but it's not game footage. I want to see it in motion. I want to see... we'll take the classic Hoth situation. I want to see AT-ATs and, snow speeders. I want to see all that going off, in real time with real people playing.
Well, I guess the good thing, I mean, obviously not seeing gameplay, that wasn't good, but the good thing is that we know that this game's going to be centered in the good trilogy of Star Wars movies and not that bullshit from the late 90s and 2000s.
Yeah, mate.
And it's just going to be called Battlefront. I mean, it's not a true third, if you will. It's almost like DICE is kind of rebooting things, which is completely fine with me.
Really? So it's not going to be...
No, it's not the third. 3. It's just straight up Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's in the best people that can make it are DICE, considering their history with the Battlefield franchise. And I'm not talking about, obviously, the bugs. Yeah, I can go on every podcast. I think I've mentioned Battlefield 4 and its bugs, but when you look at their history, they are definitely the people that you would want to see make Battlefront, because it is a similar game. It has that same ethos.
Oh, I mean, they're tailor made for this game. I mean, vehicles, yeah, exactly. And war combat.
Exactly. Yeah. Large maps, vehicles, multiple objectives, multiple ways of killing things, and the Star Wars universe, and I'm not, as we know, not majorly into it, but it fits the profile of the Battlefield games perfectly.
Yeah, totally.
So, and it did anyway, when we go back to the original Battlefronts, they were great games. Absolutely brilliant games, actually. So
that would have been in game. We're talking last Budacast where none of us really were blown away or have been daydreaming about the games we saw, but if that one came out and they actually showed off gameplay and gave a release date, I think that would have been my game of the show. For sure.
I think it would have been a lot of people's game of the show. Wouldn't necessarily have been my game of the show because I'm not majorly into Star Wars. So you know, I would have. There are a few other games that I think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When again, we've talked about this. Star Wars is what made me who I am, and that's why the prequels have scarred me so badly. But when I was sitting there 2 rows back, I was sitting next to Vanessa Fernandez from Gamersalt Weekly, and as soon as I heard that Star Wars music on cue, my skin got all goosebumped and chilled out, and that's just Star Wars for me. So
Got a semi.
yeah, an arm semi, a skin semi, not a true chub of sorts. But when I saw the donut box, that's when I got the chubby. Anyways, sticking with EA, let's move on to some other stuff they showed off. Dragon Age Inquisition. Still really didn't get to see a whole bunch of it. I mean, at the presser, they brought out some good-looking lady playing a cello or a bass to a trailer, but yeah. So what would you guys think of what you saw from Inquisition?
I've never played any of the games, so I have nothing to say.
Okay, you have no basis. All right.
Nope.
How about Ray? You get into any of the Dragon Ages, or is that not?
I like the first. I like Origins a lot. I despise Dragon Age 2.
Yeah, I'm the one dope that actually enjoyed 2 because it was so brain dead. Just go here, and do this.
You know what? And I think it succeeds in that category or in that way. But it just after the first one, I thought it was a really strong game, and the second one they just kind of took a shit all over that, as far as I was concerned. So I haven't been paying too much attention to Inquisition, other than the various, press releases and what have you that we'll get for Entertainment Buddha on a day-to-day basis. So I don't have too much really to chime in with any E3 related things to it, other than I saw some screenshots and it looks pretty good, I guess. Yeah,
it looks nasty, and I'll be honest, I'm a BioWare fanboy. I mean, I like that studio. I like what they do. They didn't really tease, but they talked about Mass Effect at the press conference, right?
Yeah, they showed like a video.
Or was I daydreaming? Okay, no. Yeah. So that's exciting to know about.
Just, I'm gonna say, going back to Dragon Age, I'm actually quite optimistic about it, because they are taking it in a little bit of a different direction, aren't they? If I remember this, you don't have the same characters as before, so it's kind of like a break, like the kind of traditional BioWare thing of where you had Mass Effect and obviously Commander Shepard or Fem Shep or whoever you picked being in every game, and your decisions affecting this, that, and the other. And they kind of semi did that with 1 and 2, but this one is a complete break from the series, and it's also going to be the first proper open world, if I remember correctly, because 2 was pretty closed off, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was very closed.
Yeah, and 1 was pretty much the same. So Inquisition is, I think it's going to be interesting to watch it and see how it works out, and hopefully they'll go back to the kind of story arc.
There's dragons in this one.
Like made Origins so interesting and made the Mass Effect series so interesting, and hopefully they'll keep that going. Because I heard that certain, we hear this mantra quite often in games that your actions will affect the world, and when you see, when you do something, this will happen, or if you do something different, something else will happen. And it never.
I think they're focusing more on gameplay this time around than what you can do with a karma system or your decisions or whatnot.
Yeah, so. I remember seeing some footage of it a while back, and certain decisions that you make mean that certain areas will have an effect, something will happen to them maybe. So if you didn't send men to a certain place, then later on you come back to find that village has been destroyed. Yeah, if you sent men there.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. And all I can say for EA is hopefully they're not releasing it around the time that WB's releasing The Witcher 3. Cause
exactly. And that
game is fucking loaded with content. But
they'd get blown.
We'll talk about that later. So anyways, with EA, the other big one they did, Battlefield Hardline. So
meh.
I got to play it. I mean, it's Battlefield.
It's not
Payday.
Cops and robbers. It's cops and terrorists, or as I like to put it, it's Battlefield, because it's just the army against the other army. They're just called the police and robbers. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, I played it and it feels just like Battlefield 4.
Yeah, it's exactly it. All they've done is, to me, it just seems like they have gone, we could make a cops and robbers game with this in it and this in it and this in it, and they've just made Battlefield all over again.
Yeah, I mean, instead of tanks, you have SWAT vehicles and
exactly,
SUVs and stuff like that.
I mean, like, the robbers have access to how many? I think it's something like 3 or 4 different kinds of helicopters. You know, it's just like,
yeah. I mean, I didn't get to play long, but when I played it, nothing stood out. Nothing really made it feel unique. So
yeah,
and then obviously EA went through all the sports titles every year.
Yeah.
We know FIFA will be great. We know Madden will be the best football. We know NHL will be the best hockey game.
Yeah.
So I really thought EA did not bring an impressive suite of games this year.
No,
they didn't bring on the guy that was turning around and basically told everyone that he loves to fight. Absolutely everything that they did last year. Do you remember that guy that came on to talk about UFC? And he's like, I love fighting. And basically, if you don't like fighting, I'm going to beat you up.
Yeah, no, none of that. They didn't bring out. Yeah, that's fine. They didn't bring out Drake or any famous people. Just Peter Moore and then the guy that runs the show over there. So.
Oh yeah.
Let's transition into Ubi. I did not get to go to that press conference, so I kind of missed the big Rainbow Six reveal. Yeah, I missed who?
Aisha Tyler, Girlwood.
Oh, okay.
That's her thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, you guys go ahead and enlighten me then. So what came out of Ubi? That, I mean, obviously we know they're doing.
Well, other than Just Dance and.
Oh my God! It was the most all over the place conference in the world. You had Far Cry, like people getting killed, explosions, guns. Then Just Dance. And then
their lead-ins were so. It was so weird because it wasn't really like set where it was kind of going in a motion, like in a fluid motion. Yeah. It was, you were happy and then you were sad and then you were, oh wow, Far Cry. Like Benson's was saying, it was all over the place. The transitions were so bizarre. None of it really made sense.
Yeah, nothing flowed into the other one nicely. There's no like decent segue. It was like chalk and cheese.
Yeah, it was weird
because you had Just Dance, so you're all happy, and then you had, was it Valiant Hearts after that?
Yeah, Valiant Hearts. Like, you were crying, and then from there it went to
the fitness game.
Yeah, the fitness game, and then from there it went to what. Did they save the Division for last? No, Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six was last, but they did show like a very cinematic trailer for the Division, and you're like, yay! And then it's back all over the place.
I was going to talk about the Division because that's a game that I had my eyes on.
Yeah, that was your shit.
Yeah, and I'm losing.
So what do you think now that you got to see it? Now that you got to see it in action, what do you think?
It still looks really, really good. Graphic-wise, it looks stunning.
Yes.
But I'm a little bit worried about what... Like, when I first saw The Division, I had this idea in my head that it was going to be, like, post-apocalyptic survival, kind of quite gritty. Right. And I don't want to say realistic, because I hate that term in a game that's obviously about some kind of zombie infection. There's no such thing as realism when it comes to that. But that kind of, you know, trying to be authentic, so to speak, you know, inverted commas. And when I watched the gameplay, it just looked like, I mean, I hate Ubi when they use that kind of canned commentary bullshit. You know, it's just like, nobody fucking talks like that when they're playing games. Nobody is that well organized. Nobody at all. And yet they try and portray, like, this is how it's going to be when you play multiplayer with your friend. It's like, no, that's not how it's going to be. Because when I play multiplayer, I'm generally playing it with my girlfriend and a couple of people, but we'll be shouting at each other because one of us will be fucking shooting the wrong person or doing something stupid or running off ahead or something like that. It's just never that well organized. And I want to see, like, how it actually plays properly with a group of people that, yeah, they're close friends, but they're not scripted. And that's the thing that really annoyed me when I watched it. I was like, oh no, it's just scripted. And when I watched it, I was just like, oh, I just drained my interest from it. I was like, I don't want this scripted shit. I'm just not interested now. It just, yeah, just the enthusiasm.
He kind of let you down.
Yeah, it deflated me completely because it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, the word on the show floor at Ubisoft Central, if you will, was Rainbow Six. I mean, that's what everyone wanted to see. That was the talk of the town.
Well,
that
I didn't even get to look at it, so you guys tell me.
Well, I mean, I guess, I'm not familiar with Rainbow Six. I haven't played any of the games, but I was watching it with my husband, and immediately, as soon as the footage came up, he recognized some of the little icons, and he's like, "That's Rainbow Six. That has to be Rainbow Six because that's the only game that you use
it
those
had
little
a cult
cameras."
Following for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've played all the Rainbow Sixes.
Yeah,
and I've loved them. Well, I say loved them. I loved the original Rainbow Six, and I liked, what was it, Vegas? The first Vegas. That was a good game. And like just watching from, because was it Siege, isn't it, that it's called?
Yeah, it's Rainbow.
I mean, it had that same kind of canned multiplayer bullshit where everyone's really organised and everyone knows what they're doing. It's almost like it's also like they're trying to sell me a training tool for the military.
Yeah,
it's just like I'm not going to do that. I'm not interested. The first thing I'm going to do when I get into Rainbow Six Siege is blow a hole in the fucking wall because I want to see how your destruction works. Because that's what impressed me about it. It wasn't like
you want to go Leroy Jenkins on it.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see how the way they showed things, like this house is getting absolutely destroyed from, the drywalls were just getting blown to shit. And that's the first thing I'm going to do. So that made me stand up and take notice. I was like, yeah, this is going to be good. This could be like a Counter-Strike situation where you've got asymmetrical gameplay. You've got two opposing teams both fighting for a single objective, and I really liked that style of gameplay. I really do, because it makes people have to work together. Not in the way that their trailers show, but still people have to work together because you will lose otherwise, and it becomes a really crap game. So straight away, when I first saw the Siege thing, and it doesn't have to be like the Rainbow Six thing. I like those games anyway. It could have been a completely different game, but it's one that I walked away from their presser and I thought, yeah, that's really left a mark. It's possibly why I felt so deflated about The Division, is once I'd seen that, I was just like, whoa, shit. That was like it was like a bolt of lightning.
No, like I said, at the Ubisoft booth, and it was a massive one. I mean, it was, even the industry people, was Rainbow Six. So let's move on to some of the other games they showed off. Obviously, we got a new Assassin's Creed coming in Unity, and quite frankly, I think this could be the best yet. The size of the world, they said, and it's in my notes, and we'll have to get it out, but basically, all the islands in water put together in AC4 isn't even like half the size of how big.
I think it's supposed to be like a 1-to-1 of Paris, isn't it?
It's the full Paris city, fully detailed. They had like 1,000 NPCs on screen at once.
Yeah, when they were sat on the tower looking down.
Yeah, and they're looking down at all the
crowd.
Nuts. Yeah.
Next gen crowd physics, people.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
Impressive. But really, what made Unity stand out outside of the whole female controversy, what we're not going to touch on, is the inclusion of multiplayer, that you actually work together in a campaign now versus just a pure multiplayer game mode. And from what we saw, I mean, I got to see a private demo. I think the multiplayer stuff looks great. I love how they implemented it. No one's really, all the assassins don't have to be in the same area. They can all kind of go do their own thing and reconvene to do super assassins, or they can just roll through as a team of 4 and kick the shit out of everyone. I think that looks great. I'm excited for AC Unity now. I mean, I like the French Revolution setting. I think that would be cool.
I'm excited for
thoughts from you guys on Unity.
I would say that I'm excited for it, as long as Ubisoft get away from their tried and tested techniques of climbing up here to check out your viewpoint so you can reveal everything on the map.
Yeah, well, you know it's coming, dude.
Follow
you
missions.
know it's coming.
If Unity has fucking follow missions in it, I'm not going to buy it, because I'm sick of them. They are the worst part of Assassin's Creed. I understand why they put them in there, but I think they could be executed so much better than generic, follow this person, don't get spotted, hide in this bush, hide in that bush, hide with a crowd of people, sit on a bench. It's just like
eavesdrop and
trying
to eavesdrop and not get caught. And
well, they'll actually you can actually take cover for the first time. So now you're actually going to be able to truly hide from people as you eavesdrop instead of just getting close and standing in a crowd of people 2 feet away and they can't see you.
Like I said, I don't mind that. I don't mind so much that you have to eavesdrop. It's the sheer number of times. In Assassin's Creed 4, I think half of the missions were eavesdrop missions. And it's just like, why the fuck do I have to do this? You know,
all I remember from that game is my boat. That's all. I loved my boat. I loved driving around, blowing shit up and diving in the water. Yeah, it's fucking
awesome.
So I think Ubi, obviously, they had a little bit more to show than
Far Cry.
EA.
You forgot Far Cry.
Oh yeah, Far Cry 4. My bad.
Yeah,
that
which
again is looking great.
The elephants.
You don't. Well, it's not just that. I mean, the elephants. Cool as fuck. Riding them, that's going to be brilliant. But for me, the thing was being able to play multiplayer, even if you don't own a copy of the game. I don't know how that's going to work, but that's.
I'm assuming everyone will attach to a host console and just read the code off of that through the network. So it could get a little chunky.
The one thing they didn't mention is whether it's going to be free. And I think people are assuming that it is going to be free because, you know, why wouldn't it be?
Oh, you think they'll have to pay like a $10 license or something?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, they might say, oh, you didn't have to own a copy of the game, but hey, here, you know, you have to pay $5.
Yeah, like the old online pass tactic that's been killed now, but was kind of alive and well for a couple years there. Yeah,
because as much as I love Ubi, they like to take a leaf out of EA's book. And EA are pricks when it comes to money. Let's be fair.
Yep.
They are the dicks of like the gaming world when it comes to content and money. The Sims is the best example. You could, if anyone ever turns around and go, EA, they're a brilliant company when it comes to giving you content. Just look at The Sims. I mean,
hey, man, you should see the abs on The Sims now, though. I mean, they really put in some amazing ab effects, ab visual design.
Fucking hell.
So anyways, Ubisoft, wrap it up. I think they have an impressive suite of games coming out. To me, Unity, I'm obviously excited to play. Division, I think I'll give it a shot. And Rainbow Six, why not? Far Cry 4, of course.
Did you not see Rainbow Six?
No, I couldn't. I mean, I'm telling you.
I just want to say
media and regular people alike could not get in there. I mean, you couldn't do it unless you booked an appointment way in advance, and we're not quite cool enough for that. But I did want to give a shout out to my man Stone Chin at Ubisoft PR. He runs the Assassin's Creed games, and he kind of hooked us up. So appreciate that. Always nice when PR people, you get to meet them after working with them through email, but then they actually recognize you and help you out. So
yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, it was good.
Did the trailer make you cry, Anna?
No, it didn't.
No. Ray, did it make you cry?
No, it didn't make me cry. It didn't make me feel anything.
No, you didn't get emotional.
What, the Rainbow Six trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I didn't even watch it.
No, no girl would. No, nothing.
No, I don't really care.
Because Aisha, she was in tears nearly. Well, so
I don't know why, though. I don't know.
No.
to make it a talking point.
Exactly, yeah. Because she's paid to, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe she had her period. I don't know.
Like I said earlier on, didn't I? You pay an actress, you get acting.
Like, I mean, and I'm a fan of Aisha Tyler, but that I didn't get.
Yeah, oh no. Like everything, she's a great presenter. I mean, as far as presenters go, I mean, when I put her up against other people, I mean, Andrew House, who has the strangest voice in the world, he's really up. It feels like his vocal cords are stretched to oblivion, and then you've got Phil Spencer, who just grins continuously like the Cheshire fucking cat. And Reggie from Nintendo.
I did get to see that smile up close and personal. It's definitely a nice smile.
Or like
it's
the
kind
Grinch.
of smile I expect the little sparkle to come from, like some fucking toothpaste ad. Yeah.
All right, well, let's leave Phil and Andrew alone. Let's kind of move on to the next big publisher we want to talk about, and that's Activision, everyone's favorite. So Activision had a couple small games to show off, one being Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Honestly, we kind of touched on that in the first episode of E3, so if you want to hear our thoughts on Call of Duty, please check out the previous episode of our recap. Let's talk about a game that we did not discuss in the first podcast, and that is Destiny.
Ooh.
So a few lucky people that own the PS4 actually got to check out what we were playing at E3 last Thursday, and Bungie was kind of kind of radical, and they actually let the alpha run for a full 24 hours past the deadline, which was great. But so Destiny, it's here. It's playable. It's coming on September 9th. Obviously, there's been a lot of buzz around it because it is a Bungie-produced title. It's their first new IP since turning Halo over to Microsoft in 343. I mean, I got to play it with a guy from Bungie, which was awesome. Just talking to him and kind of him give me insights of what to do and where to go. He did confirm that PS4 and Xbox One will both be 1080p, 30 frames per second. So the decision for which platform to buy that game on will literally come down to
content.
Do you want the exclusive? Right. And it's only timed exclusives, by the way. So it's eventually it's the Call of Duty deal for Destiny. I mean, Sony has the Call of Duty deal that Microsoft has for Destiny. And quite frankly, you know, playing it online with friends over the weekend, I can tell you right now, if the PS4 doesn't get its fucking voice chat under control to where it doesn't sound like, "Hey guys, I'm here. What's going on? Okay, what's going on?" I mean, it sounds like you're the opposing party member is in a fucking tin can. It's atrocious, the audio quality on the PS4 for chat. So that aside, let's talk about Destiny. I mean, I thought the alpha was fantastic. I thought what I played at E3 was great. I picked Destiny as my potential game of the year way back when. I still think it has that chance to do that because I think Bungie has figured out a way to kind of create an MMO light for consoles, and it's a shooter. So take it away, Benson, since you did a nice little 12-minute video on it.
I was going to say, like, I'm probably better off just staying out of this because I've got a video that you can check out.
Even better, yeah. Check out his video on our YouTube.
I mean, it's probably I've got a lot to say about it because I really went to town and I really enjoyed what I experienced, and it was a very pleasant surprise because I wasn't expecting much from Destiny. It looked very cool from what I could see from the trailers, but actually I had a few reservations, especially because it's Bungie and you know, I know them from Halo, and I thought, well, I'm kind of done with Halo, so this is just really going to be Halo, isn't it? But for multi-plats. But it's definitely not like Halo. Yeah, there's some similarities.
I mean, you know, let's be real. There's basically a flood race in the game.
That concept is there.
And some of the Fallen look like the elites.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that some of the Fallen look like skirmishers from far, depending which ones they were, and the Ghost looks like the Oracle.
Oh, it's 343 Guilty Spark. You know that's Peter Dinklage, right? The voice.
Yeah.
But for me, the fact that, I mean, in the alpha, you got a chunk of land, like a massive chunk of land to explore.
Oh yeah, the explore mission.
I never fully explored it all.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I just did a couple of those. I actually got to do a strike. A strike mission took 3 players an hour and a half to beat because of the 2 bosses we had to take out. I mean, I've never played a true MMO, so holy shit! When this it was like a, you know, like a walking tank. Think about from Clone Wars, Star Wars, those things at the end on Geonosis that are coming in and walking like a gecko. So they're there. I mean, dude, it took 3 of us probably 35 minutes to kill that, just working together and reviving each other and weakening it so it'd break down, then we could hit its weak point. And I didn't even get into the Crucible, which is a pure multiplayer aspect of the game.
No,
I had more fun fucking dancing around. And by the way,
dancing.
Bungie actually paid real dancers to get decked out in mocap to do all those animations. Because I asked them, I'm like, listen, this is probably something that came around on a Sunday night when you guys were all bored, right? And they're like, no, man, we actually planned this out, hired dancers, mocapped them, and put it into the game. So those are real deal Hollywood dancers when you're hitting the D-pad in Destiny. So Anna, what'd you think? You got to play it a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. I didn't play too much of it because when I started and you have to kill that wizard, it took a lot out of me because I was still kind of getting used to the controls too because it was very different.
Yeah, you can play it alone, but it'll kick the shit. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
If you play by yourself, it's tough.
Well, even just the beginning when you actually go into the building and then what looks like, oh my gosh, from Gears, the wraiths when they come, when they come at you, like right when you turn the corner and you hear them. And I kind of got freaked out a little bit because I'm like, this is dark. This is really dark. The music's kind of creepy. And then I'm getting attacked from all angles with these bad guys. But once I got through it and I got to the wizard, I'm like, I'm okay. But I did a lot more exploring. I was just looking at like the buildings and the graphics. And I mean, visually, it's a gorgeous game. Like it is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, for lack of a better word, fucking beautiful.
It's a good looking game. It has some really great lighting. Whether it's an amazing looking game,
it's definitely not the best looking game I saw, but it's competent for sure. And I think really my favorite part of it's the tower
as well, isn't it? So
yeah, it's mixed.
Yeah.
So Destiny, I think it's going to be rad. I mean, it's going to be easily top 5, top 3, unless they completely shit the bed.
And I really like the customizations. Like, yeah, you have to pick your class and what you want to be.
Would everyone go? I went Warlock Exo.
I think I went Warlock.
Oh, then what race?
I can't remember the class now.
The Exos are like the machine-looking people.
No, I was.
Then you got the blue-looking people.
I wasn't human.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wasn't quite looking human. Well, I mean, I made myself
I look like
green.
something from Avatar.
Yeah, okay. I think I made my skin like purple or green.
Yeah, my dude looked like the Terminator with no skin, and he was dyed black. So
do you know what my favorite thing throughout the whole alpha experience was just being able to, at any time, just whop out my bike and just blast off into the distance.
Yeah, the Sparrow.
Yeah, that was just such a cool thing. I
wish you didn't. I do like that. I wish you didn't have to hit the pad first and then square. I wish there was just a dedicated button to bring that up right away. But that's just a minor gripe.
Yeah, maybe even maybe a swipe from the touchpad or something.
Yeah.
Swipe left or something like that, or swipe right.
So, I mean, Activision, obviously they had the big boy Call of Duty. They have Destiny, which is huge. The other game they're showing off is Skylanders. I didn't get to check that out. Did they do Disney Infinity too? Is that Activision? Do they at least publish it?
No, that's straight through Disney Interactive.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you should have saw the lines for that shit. I mean, they're giving away figures.
Well, that, what's his name? Michael David Bendis, that he came out in the Sony presser. He writes a lot of stuff for Marvel, Uncanny X-Men, some of the Spider-Man stuff. He wrote the story for Marvel superheroes for Disney Infinity. So Disney is going fully legit on Disney Infinity 2.0 when it comes to Marvel.
Yeah, I was pissed I couldn't get the Hulk statue. I'm not gonna lie.
They are not messing around with that. And I think, I mean, I didn't play a whole lot with Disney Infinity this time around, but I think with Marvel, I think they're really going to give Skylanders a run for their money because it's Marvel.
Thing with Skylanders, do you have to, the new one, are you going to have to get a new fucking portal of power? And
there is a new starter kit.
They get people to obviously buy into their games, because every time a new one comes out, you have to get a new thing, a new accessory to go with it.
Well,
I mean, my stepdaughter, she's got hundreds of them. She loves Skylanders. And the funny thing is, my girlfriend's got it. She's even got Skylanders. She really enjoys the game. I won't touch it. It's not a game for me.
Yeah.
I think it's just press one button or press two buttons to do
Ooh, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, I'm not into that, I'd rather watch a film than do something like that.
Well, with Disney Infinity, it's a little different. It's not quite like
the Lego games.
Well, not like the Lego games. I think with Skylanders, it's just the one base. With Disney Infinity, you have the base, but you can have the two players, and at any given moment, you can swap them out. So you don't have to pause the game.
How long before they chuck Star Wars characters at it then?
Honestly, I don't see that far from the future. I mean, if right now they're doing Marvel,
Matt will go into his man cave, clear off all his Funko Pops.
Oh yeah,
and get his collection of Disney Infinity, Star Wars.
I love my Funko Pops to death. They just released Breaking Bad ones too.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know.
I want a Soul one. Better Call Saul.
Yeah, they have them.
But yeah, I mean, with Disney Infinity, you're gonna have to buy a new base for 2.0. But
yeah, so this is what they do. And
that's how they get you. Oh, but it's even. I mean, and they get you even more with exclusives, whether it's at Toys R Us or GameStop, or Toys R Us has special edition crystal figures where it's the same figure, they're just clear, they're just crystal, and they have one special power, and it's not anything.
Do the Disney Infinity ones, do they still have the same kind of value attached to them that the Skylanders do? Because I know some Skylanders in the UK go for a small fucking fortune.
Well,
like hundreds of pounds.
If it's the exclusives, yeah, I would not be surprised if some of those crystal figures could go for a pretty penny. I mean,
and stupid.
Yeah, and even the power discs. Some people will purposely have 3 really shitty ones, and they'll have one exclusive one and mark it up on eBay just because people would pay to have that one disc, even though they're getting 3 other crappy repetitive discs. That's how they get you. They get you with the money.
That's all interesting stuff, but for the sake of time and people that don't give a shit about Skylanders, I'm going to move on to the next.
I don't give a fuck about Skylanders. Jesus. I don't care.
No, there's nothing wrong about it. I mean, it's a huge franchise. I'm all about it. Step 3, the people that we work with for Activision, they promote it too. So buy Skylanders. But just getting back to E3 and the games, I want to talk about, to me, which was easily the most impressive lineup of games for a publisher. And this is, I'm talking about Warner Brothers Interactive. So the games they had on display were Batman Arkham Knight, Mortal Kombat X, The Witcher 3, and which one am I missing? Oh, Shadow of Mordor. So,
oh yeah, of course, yeah, Lord of the Rings, yeah.
I'll just start with that one because I think that's one game we're all kind of skeptical of. We saw it, we're like, yeah, it looks like Assassin's Creed, but I can tell you now after watching a demo, I'm jacked for this game. It's not Assassin's Creed. This whole Nemesis system and the way that you can kind of infect the minds of regular orc soldiers that can eventually go back to the orc chieftain that you can take control of and wreak havoc from inside orc camps. I really like that dynamic. I think the game looks beautiful.
Yeah,
the combat's a bit different than Assassin's Creed. It's not just chaining attacks. I mean, there's some great kill moves, but anyways, I'm definitely pumped for Shadow of Mordor. So what do you think, Benson's? Yeah, well, it looks good, right?
I don't know much about it. I've only seen a little bit of footage quite a while back now. I'm struggling to think of a lot of the game mechanics. I mean, I know you said about Assassin's Creed.
I'll try to explain it to you and I'm not good at this, but it's a new type of gameplay. But outside the Nemesis system, first off, that's just no one's ever going to play the game the same. Everything is procedurally whatever. But the other main aspect is it. So you have you're this guy Talion who's dead basically, and you can kind of, they call it dominate. You can dominate the minds of orcs. So let's say I'm rolling up to a camp and there's an orc sentry on a watchtower. I can shoot my body up and dominate him, and then I don't have to worry about being spotted. But where it gets really deep, it almost is like a chessboard opens up, and you see the orc chieftains, who are the almighty, all-powerful orcs of their specific faction. Your goal is to eventually dominate one of those chieftains so you can kind of use their faction to kill more orcs for you or other warring orc factions. So you actually pick, you're like, okay, I want to try to get to this chief by first dominating his captain, which will bring out the guards, then I can do the guards, and then eventually I get the chief.
God,
if I get the chief, if I get the chief, then he'll it's a bad explanation, but
it's probably a good explanation of a very complex system.
It's just to sum it up, yeah, you essentially, your goal is to not just run in and attack all the time. You can strategically take over orcs to do your bidding for you.
How does it fit in with the Lord of the Rings then? Or is it just set in the Lord of the Rings?
No, it takes place in between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. So Sauron obviously is back because he wakes up at the end of The Hobbit, obviously. I mean, not that that's a spoiler. The book's been around since like 1940. But basically, Sauron begins to come back to power during The Hobbit because the ring finally makes it out of the mountains, and that's his power source, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, this game is set in between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings series. So Talion was a member of the, I don't want to say the Night's Watch, but that's basically what they were. They were rangers that were tasked with watching the border of Mordor and the rest of Middle-earth. Sauron comes back and just fucking dominates them all, kills them all. Somehow Talion's soul gets saved or trapped, and so you are playing as this shadow of Mordor, and you can basically, like I said, dominate the minds of orcs or animals. Like that, there's like this big cat. He just went up to it and dominated it and got on the cat and used it as his mount. So it's not Assassin's Creed whatsoever. I think it looks great. I think it's gonna be a great Tolkien universe type of game. So I'm definitely excited for Shadow of Mordor now. Anyone else? Anna Ray, what'd you guys think of that game, or do you not really into Tolkien?
I could care less, to be completely honest. I like Tolkien and all that stuff. I just think from all the trailers and screenshots I've seen of the game, it looks like a rush job. I don't know when it's supposed to come out October, correct? Yeah,
I mean, seeing a playable build in person, I do not get that opinion whatsoever. Like it looks like a completed game to me.
Well, I hope I'm wrong, because all the trailers that they've released, the game looks pretty rough.
Yeah, well, I guess we can hope for the best and that the development ends strong, but coming out of E3,
it's cool in premise, I guess. I think it's interesting. I don't know. I really hope they do a lot more than just like you're kind of saying, like, oh, I have to go here. Better mind control this guy so I can mind control that guy to get to that guy.
That's just one aspect. I mean, again, you could go in and try to fucking beat everyone up. So there's multiple paths.
I think that
build into
that still is an Assassin's Creed approach to me, in the same way that it's, oh, you got to go climb this tower so you can see more of the map. Now it's just you got to go mind control this, or you need to get to this chieftain before you go to the next one. Like, that's just how I view it.
Yeah, there's. Yeah, I wish I could show you what I saw, because there's a lot more to how I explained it. And
I'll have to just read your notes better, because I have your notes from the thing.
Oh, yeah. So Ray will probably be writing a preview of it. So another big game WB showed off that just, I mean, what a demo, but the Batman Arkham Knight. Holy hell. I mean, game looks fantastic. I love the way they incorporated the Batmobile, and it's basically an extension of Batman. They showed a section where, you know, he got into an altercation with multiple enemies, so he's juggling them around, beating them up, but he would kick a guy up in the air, and then the Batmobile would shoot like a concussion grenade at him dynamically. It just looks like a hell of a lot of fun. It looks like Batman crashing through windows now. I just really, not that I was not excited for it, but you can tell Rocksteady's back in control of the Batman Arkham franchise.
That's good to know, because I still haven't finished Origins.
Yeah, Origins wasn't bad. It just didn't feel wow. Yeah. Where this guy, I mean, I got to give the presenter credit, because he made it like it was a rock concert. I mean, his announcing of the gameplay was infectious, and he definitely kind of fed into the excitement.
at the presser with at Sony's press conference with all the lights?
No, this is on the show floor. I mean, all the publishers they're basically like little cities on the show floor. Like, they build these little buildings in the expo hall, and they actually have theaters. I mean, no joke, theaters. And it was a theater presentation. Okay. So.
Yeah, because when Sony was showing their footage of the game, like at one point the lights just started to do like a little show, and then that's when Scarecrow came on the screen. Yeah, so yeah. I was confused for a moment, because I'm like, what is going on? And then, you know, of course I got excited, because it's Scarecrow missions, and you always know how weird and creepy Scarecrow is, and makes everything interesting.
Yes, very trippy, but I think Arkham Knight's looking fantastic. Any other comments on Batman?
Well, I actually thought it looked pretty bloody good, to be honest with you. The city, the detail. It's been confirmed.
It looks fantastic.
Don't think that the console is going to look like that, by the way. That was PC footage. It's been, I think it was confirmed by Rocksteady that It was
Well,
running
I mean, all these
high-end
demos
PC.
are ran on PCs. Let's be real. All these demos
Well,
are PCs.
no, not all of
sure.
them. The ones that look amazing are most definitely running on a high-end PC. But that trailer was fucking epic.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else. It was just, it's fucking kick-ass Batman. I mean, it looks fantastic.
I will say that you said about the Batmobile turning into some kind of like tank, that feels out of place. And I know that obviously they're getting around it by saying, well, you know, because suddenly we've got rockets and machine guns, and you're like, well, hang on a minute, this is Batman, isn't it? You know, we don't kill anybody.
Yeah, like I said, when it shoots people, they say they're just concussion shots.
Yeah, exactly, and they combat the vehicles by saying that they're like drones, don't they, or robot?
Yeah. So
he's
technically not shooting a gun, I guess.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, look, he is really, isn't he? You know, why don't you just? Do you know what I mean? For the sake of
I'll
law,
get over it
obviously.
because the way you can use the Batmobile to get around, it opens up the city. I mean, the city's going to be a lot larger.
The city looked
because you're going to have that ride.
The smoke, the particle effects, how dense it looked as well. Like
it is amazing, man. And all the games, we're in for a great 2015 is all I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last big one, or the last two at WB, Mortal Kombat X, holy fuck. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I mean, just holy shit. The violence is at an all-time new level of absurdity, which is awesome. The new characters are great.
I like new characters is what I'm most looking forward to. The
whole cast is, I'm pretty sure, is going to be new outside of Scorpion, Sub-Zero. So you got,
well, they have,
what? So there's going to be no
Cassie Cage.
Yeah, Cassie Cage is the daughter of Sonya and Johnny Cage, and then there's going to be other people like that. Like I think Devora was one.
Surely they're going to have some of the classic characters as well. They're not.
No, so far I think it's just Scorpion and Sub-Zero. And the rest are supposed to be new. And what's outside of the obviously amazing looking, gut punchingly brutal X-ray attacks, and then the fatalities are just, geez, oh, I mean, the whole theater stood up and screamed when we saw Scorpion's one fatality where he shoots a fireball at the dude's chest. The chest cavity drops out, the heart drops down into the hole. The character takes a knee, and then Scorpion slices his face off. His skin slides off his skull piece comes off, and then his brain oozes out. That's just like, holy shit.
That sounds pretty
love
awesome.
I think it's Ferrator as the character. It reminded me of Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome. That character, you know, the little midget.
Master Blaster.
Yeah, Master Blaster. That's exactly what it is. It's like a little girl rides on top of a big...
That's my only contribution to the podcast is having an encyclopedic knowledge of the Mad Max films.
Yeah, so... Mortal Kombat X is looking nasty. I love this whole new thing where each fighter has 3 different fighting stances, which completely change their power moves and the way they can fight. That's going to open up all sorts of strategies for the game when it comes out.
I also liked that there were parts of the stages that you could use in combat.
Oh, yeah. You could like jump onto the trees to get away, or you could rip off a branch and smash it into his face.
Yeah.
I love Mortal Kombat from the arcade days, and this one was just, it's something else. I mean, it just looks
fantastic. The last Mortal Kombat they did.
I love MK9 was great.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, there was just an update of the arcade games, really, wasn't it? But with all the characters.
Yeah, and then they actually make a real campaign for a fighting game that isn't just going up a tournament ladder and fighting people.
I actually strangely enjoyed that campaign.
Oh, I did too.
As cheesy as it was, I really enjoyed playing it.
And I don't know if you played Injustice Gods Among Us, but they did the same thing with that, and it was a great campaign for a fighting game too. Yeah. So you're going to get that in MKX for sure. And then finally, WB, the last big game they showed off. Well, I kind of got a special demo with CD, but The Witcher 3.
Oh yeah,
Jesus, guys.
Yes. That's gonna be.
We had an hour-long presentation, and we barely made it through just a minor mission. So it was a somewhat. If you played The Witcher before, you kind of know how the missions play out. You get a main mission. You have an objective. You go talk to the guy. He gives you another objective before he will give you what you want, basically. So that's what Geralt was doing. He had to find this girl with white hair is all we knew. So he goes out looking for it and has to go find this little forest imp after talking to a guy in a bar and blah, blah, blah. The world is ginormous. The guy said it would have taken 15 minutes if you rode the horse from where we were at, the town we were in, to the objective we needed to get to. And it didn't look that far on the mini map, but in real game life, it would have taken 15 minutes to ride to go from one point to another. And that's not even the entire map. He said anything you see on the horizon, you can interact with.
That kind of worries me. As much as I love The Witcher, and as great as CD Projekt Red are as developers, I am slightly worried that the game world is going to be so big that there's going to be masses of empty space as such. I mean, yes, the landscape might look brilliant and, you know, really detailed and lovely lighting, but if there's nothing for me to do in that world, in that 15 minutes from getting from the town to my objective, if there was nothing for me to see or interact with, then it's going to be pretty hollow. And I'm just worried.
Oh, no, there will be, but the good thing is there's fast travel now, so it's not like you'd have to do that. It's kind of like other games where as long as you visited the location, like Skyrim, you can then just do a little quick button.
But then it begs me to wonder why make the game world so big anyway. If you're going to, you know, when you have things like fast travel
there are people out there that just get lost in the world, I would imagine.
I will be doing that, and I've gone on record numerous times saying how unbelievably excited I am for The Witcher 3.
Yeah, Ray wanted me to blow the lead developer at CD Projekt Red.
Yeah,
so excited.
pretty in so many words. But I was thinking about the Witcher 3 recently, and I don't know, my computer will certainly be able to play it at its higher settings once it comes out, but I've officially decided that I will be probably purchasing it for a console, specifically for the reason that I plan to spend so much time in it that it would probably destroy my computer, all things considered, and I'd much rather sit and play it on a console so I can really get comfy with it and while I invest my hundreds of hours into it, because I've never been more excited for a game. I think
I'm going to go the console route with it. Witcher 1 and 2 were PC, which I actually got via Entertainment Buddha before I was taken on as a staff member. So thank you very much, EB.
We make gamers' dreams come true.
True that. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go console route, I think, with number 3. I think it's because I just, like you say, I just want to sit down on my couch, controller in my hand, nice big screen, and just enjoy the spectacle of the world. And
but I think in that, because obviously I'm the same way, and I think that's why if it is a 15-minute horse ride where there's not so much going on except taking in the scenery, I'll learn to live with it and enjoy it. Because if I'm just sitting there on a couch or, you know, laying on my bed playing across my room, I could live with that and take it in for sure.
No, I understand. I mean, when I said about nothing to do, I mean, like, I'm talking like even minute details to me is something to do. If I can get off my horse, go to a river and see fish swimming about, that is something that I love to see, that level of detail in a game. And
I would venture to say that is a level of detail we'll certainly get throughout the game on, I think, all platforms, just because, you know, CD Projekt Red, I think, is bar none the best developer in the video game industry. So
yeah, but
they do serve beer at their press events, which is fantastic.
This is what I'm just saying. Like, I just hope that they can carry that over to their entire game.
Yeah,
and because it is shaping up that it's, you know, massive, and I do mean absolutely massive. I am. Well, I
said to Matt as I was,
you know, some corners cut because it is so big. You know, it is a tough challenge to make an open world game that is beautifully well crafted and feels natural and feels right. And like I said, with the whole fast travel thing, now I fast travel in Skyrim all the time because Skyrim's fucking boring to walk around. It's boring to get on a horse. It's the same thing over and over. Oh, a grey hill. Oh, some trees. It's just so boring. That's why I fast travel. And I just hope that with The Witcher, that I won't want to fast travel. That I, like you say, I want to just take my time and enjoy the, you know, the vistas and the views, and like I said, go off and explore. That's one thing that Destiny really nailed. When I first started playing the alpha with Destiny, it was just like, I don't want to go and do the missions. I want to see what the world's like. And it was massive. You know, that little tiny chunk they gave us is huge. And I enjoy doing that in games. I enjoy exploring. I enjoy seeing what developers have done, if they've hidden anything away, or the tiny minute details that might be there. You know, shit like seeing if they've put fucking butterflies, you know, flying around, or bees landing on flowers. I love that kind of stuff.
It's funny you bring that up, because he can actually command bees to fight for him now. I'm not kidding. I'm literally not kidding.
It's going to be immense. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, I just
worry that
like
my
I said,
expectations are too high.
Those guys know how to throw a press demo, because before you go in the theater, they got cold beer, chocolate, and then when you leave, you get usually a swag bag. This year they gave us a nice like cloth bag, and then I got it's probably about a 9-inch statue of Geralt. So that was definitely a keeper. I'll be keeping that one. I'll be giving out all the other stuff.
That figure or statue is so
it's
cool.
badass. I'm keeping that. Sorry,
I saw
people.
your pic of it. It looked excellent.
Yeah, so that's WB. Like I said, I honestly think for a publisher, they had the strongest games to show. So let's move on to Sega, who didn't have a huge presence, but they did have a pretty interesting game there in Alien Isolation. I don't give a shit about Sonic anymore, so I'm not going to talk about that. But I got to play Alien Isolation, and it plays exactly as how you'd want an Alien game to play. You're constantly on edge, you're constantly anxious, and you never know when you're going to get killed, which is great. But I think this game is going to be very polarizing. I think people that aren't really into stealth and survival horror are going to absolutely hate it, because the demo, they didn't give us any direction, and I probably died 20 times within 2 minutes, because it's all about using the environment to either hide or escape. You're not there to fight the xenomorph. This is not Aliens Colonial Marines, where it's just a fucking shooting gallery of aliens. There's one alien, and he is all powerful, and he will kill you if you make a misstep. So I think Sega, and I believe it's Creative Assembly who's the developer, I definitely think they've hit the nail on the head when it comes to an Alien game and just creating that atmosphere that we know from the movies.
Yeah, I remember speaking to you briefly in Skype about it, and I said that I was really worried because when I was looking back at some footage from E3, they had like a flamethrower and there were weapons. And I remember saying in the last podcast, I don't think there'll be firearms. I don't think, you know, that, or at least their use will be limited. And the reason is because obviously once you have a firearm, you suddenly feel empowered. That
here's the funny thing.
Doesn't seem so scary, does it?
Well, here's the deal. There are firearms, but the ammo is very limited. So I found the flamethrower, just as you were saying, and I was like, oh, cool. Now I don't have to hide around or use my motion tracker. Sure as shit, as soon as he caught wind of me and got my scent and came after me, I was like, bah, bah, bah. And yeah, it kept him away for enough to kind of let me hide in a closet. But it didn't kill him, nor did I feel like I was powerful with it. I felt like it was something to give me enough time to get away and hide again, which is, I think, the tone that they're going for in this game. It's not all about, you are not the all-powerful Ellen Ripley or whatever his name is. You are, no, it's not Ellen Ripley. Ellen Ripley's the mom, right? Amanda Ripley, I believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's going to be, I read this today, it's going to be about 15 hours long. Which is pretty long.
I could see that. I mean, I was playing, I believe they're like missions where it gave you objectives. I literally had to, I was supposed to beat this thing in 30 seconds, and it took me a half hour just to beat it.
I understand.
To realize which way to go.
It's going to be a long game as such, but for 15 hours, they better not have that tension. That better not be 15 straight hours of knife edge tension, because I don't think my nerves will be able to take that.
I think I'll be in the hospital.
Stroke. Yeah, everyone's gonna have a damn stroke from that.
And I noticed there's also people, isn't there? There's also other humans. Are they? I don't know whether they're company members or pirates or you know, whatever.
Yeah, again, they didn't give much direction about where the game. I don't think it takes place on a spaceship. They're at some sort of like colony world, I believe. I'm just making that up, so don't quote me on it. But yeah, there will be other humans, but it really is.
It is on some kind of spaceship.
It's about you.
I'm sure.
And the xenomorph and just avoiding him at all costs. I mean, hiding. The one time I hid in the closet and he got all up in the grates, and then the game's like, hold your breath. So I hold my breath. They're like, now pull away. So, I mean, it's just that tension, like Jim said, it's like being on a knife. You're like, oh, shit. I thought I was safe. I'm in the closet. No, you're not safe. He can still hear you. Hold your breath. Now he can smell you. Back away from the door. So it was, I definitely liked it.
The more I see of it, the more reserved I'm getting about it. When I first heard about Isolation, I was really, really excited. But the more I've seen it, the more I'm kind of I'm just getting a little bit more cautious now, because I'm thinking, right, okay, it's going to be 15 hours long. There's going to be firearms. That alien better be one intelligent son of a bitch, because to keep that up for 15 hours, if I don't know if anyone's played Outlast. Anyone? No.
No
one played Outlast. Well, Outlast is great for the first 2 hours, but after the first 2 hours, you just don't care anymore, because you know that this guy's going to chase you. You know that there's going to be this kind of maybe a jump scare here. You know what's expected of you. And it becomes very stale very quickly. And I'm worried that the same thing might happen in Isolation. That
it could. I mean, the Xeno that was in my game was smart as shit, because I'd go one way one playthrough, and then I try it another way the next. And I think it was telling you guys in chat earlier in the week, I was like, oh, I think I finally made it. I'm walking. I put my motion tracker down because I think I'm a fucking badass. And nope, out of the ceiling, the alien grabbed me and restart. So
yeah, I mean, they've got their work cut out. It's a delicate balance, because obviously, on the one hand, they don't want people to be on edge for 15 hours, but then on the other hand, they don't want people to be bored after 3 hours. So
right,
this is why I'm thinking the 15 hours thing's a little bit too long. If they'd have cut that down to maybe 8 hours, I would probably be a little bit more optimistic.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be the first true Alien game, as far as sticking with what the movie did. I mean, the first movie we're talking about, not the second one, but
yeah.
So that's Sega. Moving on, and the next publisher talking about is Bethesda. They had 2 games to show off: The Evil Within, which I got to play, and Battle Cry, which I got to play. And I guess we'll start with Battle Cry, which is a new introduction. It kind of looks like Team Fortress, but there's no guns. So in this world, basically the world leaders all got together and signed a treaty, no more gunpowder. So this world is devoid of gunpowder. They try to eliminate wars, and to eliminate wars, they now have these arenas where countries will send their warriors and be like, all right, duke it out in the arena. That will prevent full-scale war, blah, blah, blah. So that's the backstory. The gameplay, I mean, it's multiplayer. It is somewhat class-based. But it was just a really fun game to play. Very fast-moving. You have grappling hooks. You can do long dives. And like I said, since they don't have gunpowder, it's mainly melee-based multiplayer. So you got swords, and then there are ranged attacks, but they're just going to be bows and arrows and whatnot. So I don't know if you guys looked at Battle Cry at all, if that completely went under your radar. All right.
Nope.
I remember the screenshots when when the game first got revealed from a little bit ago.
It's just a cool concept.
Yeah.
I like the world. I like the fact that there's not guns, which is different. A melee-based multiplayer, which is something that really hasn't existed for a while.
Well, except now that's become like a pretty popular subgenre in and of itself recently.
Yeah.
You see a lot of that stuff on, Steam and what have you. So
I think Battle Cry looked cool. Yeah. The Evil Within, I got to play 2 chapters from there. I'm not a huge survival horror fan, but the game itself looks pretty good. It looks a lot better than when Ray and I saw it at PAX East.
Thank God.
I was surprised by the controls, because when you think survival horror, you think, okay, aim, stop, shoot, aim, stop, shoot. No, in this one, you can hip shoot. Not that it helps you much, because you can't really kill any of the demons unless you catch them on fire, and matches are a consumable item, so you got to keep picking them up. But The fact that you could move, dodge, and shoot felt kind of odd.
Isn't it 360 and PS3? It's not next gen title.
I believe it's coming out for the big boys too. Yeah, it is. I played on the PS4.
Is it? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I honestly thought it was 360 and PS3 only because the graphics look amazing.
It's multi. The graphics look good. They use the film grain effect. I don't know if you guys are into that.
Mate, I'm straight into the options. Switch that off.
Yeah, okay, good. That's kind of how I am too. But it's another game, a very cinematic presentation. You know, it's a third-person view. It gets real tight when you zoom in to shoot. Sebastian, the main character. I mean, the world's just completely bonkers. I mean, I had no clue. I mean, we started chapter 3, so I had no clue what's going on with the story. I just walked in a room, and this guy's brother was like ripping his brains out and cutting another.
As long as it washes away the memory of Resident Evil 5 and 6, that's all that matters.
Oh, well, this could be an entire new podcast in and of itself.
All right, before we get into that, let's move on to 2K.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, Evil Within, I think it's shaping up, and I think it'll entertain survival horror fans. I'm not going to say it's a game for everyone.
I think it will. It will be something that people like myself who really do enjoy survival horror. I think it'll hit home for us.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ray.
And Matt, like when we saw it at PAX, I was deflated about it. Like it was kind of a bummer to see. But I do have some faith in Shinji Mikami since him having kind of the free reign over the project, and I think it's just we're gonna have to accept it's not gonna be an early Resident Evil. It's not gonna be one of the first 3 Silent Hill games. It's gonna be a 2014 take on the genre. So with that in mind,
it's still brutally difficult. Don't get me wrong. I mean, just because you can hip shoot doesn't mean shit. I mean, bullets are sparse.
I'm not even talking about difficulty or anything. I'm just saying in terms of how it plays from how traditional silent horror would play. You just got to accept that it's a decade later for that kind of stuff.
No, I'm totally agree. I'm totally in agreement with you, Ray, because I think it's one of those things that you think back to the first time you played Resident Evil, the first time you played Silent Hill, and you have such a rose-tinted view of it that if you were to wholesale bring those games onto next-gen consoles, they just wouldn't have the impact that they did then because so much has happened since. It's pretty much like any game. Yeah. You could do that with any genre. And
are you trying to tell me people wouldn't love to have tank controls back?
Oh my God! No, not at all.
I honestly, if they came out with a game with tank controls now, I would definitely be playing it.
I think.
Yeah, the only one I've ever played was Dead Space, the first one.
What was that? Sorry, I missed that.
The first Dead Space had the aim to fire mechanic.
Oh no, I know what Ray's talking about. Your character movement, I think, aren't you?
Yeah. The tank. You're moving, holding the direction to move. Yeah. If you want to change angles, you're stopping. Yeah. Repositioning, turning, and going. I love it. You're on tracks. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's terrible. It always was terrible. I mean,
what bollocks to you?
It worked at the time because there wasn't. I think it was PlayStation 1, so there wasn't even analog sticks. So directional. It worked with directional pad. But I mean, even though they did the Resident Evil 5 and 6 and tried to update and bring in new control systems, they lost a lot of what made the series really, really good. I mean, 6 especially. I think 6 is an absolute abomination and should be destroyed. I mean, I hope that we find copies of it in a fucking landfill 20 years from now. It's that kind of game. It's terrible.
Well, Major Nelson will go dig it up.
Yeah. I mean, 5 wasn't that much better, but at least it felt like Resident Evil, if only marginally. I think most people would say that 4 is the best one, but for me, it's not. I don't think 4 is the best Resident Evil game. I think mechanically it was. For me,
Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Yep. See, look, we always agree. Isn't it great?
Resident Evil 2, best survival horror game. Silent Hill 1.
You guys can have a Resident Evil jerk-off party on the next podcast. Let's move on.
It'll be a Silent Hill jerk-off party, if anything.
Just called Silent Jerk-Off.
Next publisher. Oh. Silent circle jerk. All right.
We're going to get taken off the internet sooner or later, aren't we?
Next publisher, 2K. I don't really want to go into them much because we kind of talked about their big game during PAX, and it didn't change much outside that they introduced, and we're talking about Evolve, obviously. They introduced a new monster and a couple new humans. Yeah, Evolve's going to be something special. I mean, I think it's going to be a great return to team-based multiplayer where you actually have to work as a team, and then the whole 4v1 mechanic's cool. So
I think
that's Evolve. It's definitely a game to get this year.
Just to touch up on something else as well, which is semi-related, is did you check out The Hunt? I can't remember its full title. It's called The Hunt.
For Red October.
Something. And it's done by Crytek.
No, I did not see anything like that.
Well, it's kind of like a Left 4 Dead multiplayer experience where you choose different characters and you are hunting various different monsters, and not zombies as such, but there are zombie-like characters, and there are vampires, and there are possibly werewolves, and you fight towards the end of the level where there is a boss. It's really interesting. You should check it out. It's going to be a free-to-play game as well.
You said?
So, yeah, I can't remember its full title. It's The Hunt something.
Hunt Horrors of the Gilded Age.
That's the one. There we go. That's why I couldn't remember it, because it's a fucking long time.
What the hell?
Yeah, check it out. Check it out.
All right. I'll put that on the to-do list. Other things 2K was showing off, Civ Beyond Earth. Unfortunately, I did not get to check that out. I heard it was pretty rad, though, because you are kind of out in space now. And then Borderlands, a pre-sequel. I did get to watch a demo of that. And it's Borderlands. I mean, it's not going to be bad, but it's also nothing new besides you're on the moon and you now have basically low G. So that's 2K.
And you can play as Claptrap.
You can play as Claptrap?
Yeah.
I thought they were all handsome Jack cronies, though.
No.
Is it like the evil Claptrap?
No, he's a playable character in it.
All right,
because
well, it's definitely worth getting, because I did get my picture taken with David Eddings.
Talking of circle jerks.
Right.
Claptrap, my boy. We almost looked like twins. We're both bald and old looking, so it was awesome.
Aww,
so that's 2K. I mean, really, I think all the games they showed off are definitely worth checking out. I mean, Civ, is a great franchise. Evolve, I think, is going to shake things up. And Borderlands, it's always at least going to be entertaining. Next publisher, Konami. They really weren't showing off jack shit, but they did have the Phantom Pain on display. Did get to check out some gameplay.
Calling it now, 1 out of 10, wouldn't play again.
Yeah. Hackneyed trite garbage.
1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Just a little my background, Metal Gear. Haven't played a damn game besides Revengeance, which wasn't even like a true.
That's the
wasn't even a true Metal Gear game. Well, I thought it was funny, but
oh my god!
So the Phantom Pain, if this makes any sense, I have no history with the franchise. I want to play this game. That's how amazing it looks.
I've played nearly all the Metal Gears. I haven't played every single one because I don't think I played a couple of the latest ones, but even I struggle to remember the storyline of Metal Gear. It is so complex.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking wacky, and it's a Japanese.
It would have to be its own
story.
podcast, and it like that. We'd be sitting here for another 3 hours.
I do have to say, going into the theater, they had this great infographic that showed the evolution of Snake from his pixel form on the Nintendo days up till now.
Oh, yeah,
so that was pretty cool.
Konami, they put that in with all the assets that they released at E3 too. I wish I still had it on my computer. Oh, it was so good though. You're right.
As the anyways to the demo itself. So the Fox engine, fucking phenomenal. I mean, you look at this game and you have no clue that it's being developed for old and new consoles. I mean, it looks like a purely new console only game. One of the first things I noted, and Ray kind of chuckled when he was reading over my notes, but just watching Snake's horse take a shit. I was like, that looks like a real horse taking a real shit. I mean, there's just a dynamic thing, where the presenter was sitting there talking, and before he took off, sure enough, the horse dropped the bomb, and then we moved into the mission. And I love the whole Fulton airlift thing system too. That was great. I mean, he was airlifting out sheep, bad guys, tanks, containers, and all that shit ends up back at Mother Base, which is a whole other part of the game where you build up your own mother base. Everyone can make it look unique. You can build it up in the, I mean, it basically looks like an oil rig out in the ocean. You just build layers and layers on that. And if you piss people off, like factions during the missions, they may come attack your mother base. If you help people during missions, they may come and aid your base. So I just think this game looks freaking awesome. I'm not a big fan of stealth games, but I'm all for the Phantom Pain.
I think it's going to be exceptional. It's going to be like another masterpiece. I think Kojima.
It definitely is really looking that way.
All of his kind of creative effort into this, and I think it's because obviously it's in the next generation of consoles, so he has a whole new hardware to play with. And yes, all right, it's going to be cross-gen, but obviously, I think that's going to be his like main driving force, is that he's going to have the show. Hence why you've got the Fox engine looking so good and all these tiny little details. And that's the best thing about Metal Gear Solid. It's not so much the story. I mean, yeah, the story's interesting because it really is. It's very wacky, it's very out there, but it's still very interesting. But to me, Metal Gear is all about the detail, the tiny.
Oh, yeah.
I think Ray's in agreement. Like, I used to sit there typing in different codes into the codex and getting loads of random chatter come up. That you wouldn't normally find.
Metal Gear Solid 2, even whatever year that was actually released, that the ice. Like in the ice buckets, you could sit there and watch them melt.
Yeah.
Like
yes,
Kojima, he puts in a scarily obsessive level of detail.
All right, so like
I
said, a horse taking a shit. I mean,
exactly.
That's dead on. I mean, it's exactly
as
what
I was
you guys
looking
are
through your
talking about.
notes. Yeah, I was dying because I obviously wasn't there to see it, but could picture how that would look on the Fox engine with
fantastic.
That creepy attention to detail.
Best poop I've ever seen.
Next gen poop, people.
It was truly next gen. So I think the Phantom Pain's going to be something special.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked so great that I almost want to go get that collection for the PS3 and play it.
I am kind of wondering whether it will be one of the last Metal Gear games. I don't know why. I just have this feeling that he's trying to.
I think Kojima did say he wants to do other projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they were calling him
is.
Snake. They're calling him Big Boss. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I just know this
they're
looks
two separate
great.
characters, even though they are the same.
Yeah, and welcome to Metal Gear Plot 101.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll stop right there. But anyways, Konami, their one game was definitely a doozy. So, Phantom Pain looking fantastic. I want to move to a new publisher, but a publisher that's kind of has a decent little portfolio going for itself, and that's Deep Silver. Deep Silver, they're showing off Dead Island 2, which I kind of like the trailer. It's kind of neat where that Hollywood guy's running down this beach and all hell's breaking loose.
That was really cool because they show him getting ready, and you see the bite mark on his arm, but he's just like, yeah, whatever, covers it up with his wristband, and he's just going about his business, and mayhem is just going off behind him, and then you see him turn into a zombie. That was really cool. And that song, I can't get that fucking song out of my head. It was
that one and Phantom Pain. Those two trailers and their songs were very addicting.
Was it? But it sounded like Jack Black at the end as well. The guy,
right? I thought the same thing too. I thought
they did not mention any voice actors. So I did, outside of the trailer, I did get to see some gameplay. I mean, it's running on Unreal Engine 4, so it's pretty tip-top. It did not look like Dead Island of Dead Island Pass. I mean, you're in a city now. Basically, parts of California have become infected. But it looked like it looked like a nice zombie game. I mean, we're kind of flooding the whole zombie genre these days. But I think they've peppered it up enough, doctored it up enough, and really the way you can use sound to influence the zombies, and the environment's destructible. I mean, you can light a car on fire and it could start a field on fire, which could start trees on fire. So I think Dead Island 2 is shaping up nicely. The other game Deep Silver showed off was the new Homefront, which I didn't play the first Homefront. But I'm definitely going to be playing this one because I think Crytek has really put their brand of gameplay and visual quality into it. And the setting's cool. I mean, usually you don't hear of a game where America is being oppressed, because we usually oppress other nations. And, you know, we got North Korea has been living here for 4 years. They've taken over the city of brotherly love, and they're just fucking with our mantra. And you know, they had this rebellion kind of springing up. So
yeah, it's the only way that you could make Philadelphia look shittier than it currently is to have North Korea invade it for 4 years.
Come on,
That's
man.
speaking from someone who lives in the city, so it's okay.
No, you got to make that disclaimer, because not that this will make any sense to Benson's, but people from Philadelphia that take their city very seriously. I have a lot of family members from Philly that I can't even be Facebook friends with anymore because of their love for the city of Philadelphia. So he's not bullshitting you. He's telling it to you real.
That's really weird, because like we don't in England, we don't have any pride with our cities, but we just take the piss out of each other.
Yours is more like, I guess it kind of centers around the football clubs. I guess you could get.
There is that, but you can take the football clubs away, and I mean, everyone will tell you Liverpool's a shithole, and everyone will tell you Manchester's a shithole. I mean, Portsmouth,
for the most part,
that's a fucking shithole, but
everyone loves their city over here, and they take. And you should take pride in it. I'm just saying, my family gets a little too.
Oh yeah, I take pride in the fact that I'm from Portsmouth.
A little too into shit.
It's just
without
it's just
naming names, of course.
Yeah, I mean, his name may be Schmeil Schmooback. Anyways, I just kind of blew through the Deep Silver stuff because we're running a little long. Trying to think, and this is killing me because I don't know who the publisher is, but you know, Techland is coming out with Dying Light and Hellraid, and I got to play Dying Light.
Hellraid's self-published, I think.
Okay, they may both be then because they're in the same room. But anyways, Dying Light, I think plays. It's very fun, very strategic, a different type of zombie game. And then Hellraid kind of looks like a little more demented dungeon-based Skyrim. So. I mean, that's pretty much the publishers I got to talk to, work with in the games to see. And, you know, my crew, they got to kind of watch the trailers and stuff. And I just got an email about the Metal Gear Solid E3 demo is now online to view. So we'll be probably putting that up on the site tomorrow. But that's it, guys. I mean, any other comments on E3 2014? Or are we ready to put this girl to bed?
Stick a fork in her.
Yeah, I think
done.
we thoroughly covered this year's show, which is definitely a highlight of the year for people like me. I mean, this is why I started Entertainment Buddha, to get games early and for free, and to go to E3, and the fact that I got to go, it's fantastic and surreal sometimes. It's a shitload of work. I mean, Ray and I are still going through. I'd say we have at least 10 more previews to get out over this week, and hopefully not too long into next, because we'll be in the Gamescom territory before we get all our content out. But anyways, we appreciate it. We love you. Keep coming back. I mean, we definitely put our best effort into the site, be it the podcast, be it Benson's making videos, Anna digging up web gems, Ray being my number 2 and kind of running the show when I'm out of here. So that's our E3 coverage for 2014, people. Again, I'm Matt Haywood. You can follow me at Matt Haywood, MATTH3YWOOD. You can follow the site at EntBuddha, ENTBUDDHA. In fact, to make it easier, just go to entertainmentbuddha.com. Right there on the top where you see a little share symbol, hover over that. You can see all of our social accounts and follow them right from there. So I just want to pass it over to Benson's. Anything you want to... Oh, before I get to Benson's, again, I mentioned these on the last E3 podcast, but we are giving out for free. All you have to do is like Facebook and Twitter. We're giving out a copy of Watch Dogs for the 360, a copy of Watch Dogs for the PS3, a copy of Murdered Soul Suspect for the PS4, and then starting next week, I will start doing giveaways for all the E3 swag I have, which took up 2 large grocery bags. So I'm talking shirts you can't get anywhere, bags you can't get anywhere, and other knick-knacky bullshit that they hand out.
If no one's going to go for it, it just goes to me. So
yeah, I'll be shipping it all over to Portsmouth, because I got to get Benson his Buddha gear, because years ago when I sent it over there, it got lost somewhere, probably in the English Channel. I don't know, but it never made it. Yeah, or Chaos kept it all. So So those are my plugs. Like I said, check out the site. We're giving shit away. We want you to win stuff. I guarantee you the best odds on the internet to win something is an Entertainment Buddha contest. So over to Benson's. Anything you want to wrap up, plug?
Yeah, you can just follow me on Twitter at 10Bensons. And that's it, really.
Awesome. How about you, Raymond? Anything this time?
No, same thing. You gotta listen.
Keeping zen, keep listening. He's he's keeping his cards close to his chest, people. He's not going to give you anything for free these days. Anna, anything down there? Or you just want to kind of get back to the rest of your day off and get ready for the grind tomorrow?
No, just follow me on Twitter at Febzilla.
Excellent.
That's it. Nothing to plug.
All right, geeks, gamers, and nonconformists, it's been real. We've been podcasting for almost 3.5 hours straight, so I'm a little worn out, as I'm sure my co-hosts are. But we all know Benson's will do a fine job editing this mess together and making it sound studio quality. So until next time, people, and next time maybe next week, actually, so we can kind of put Game of Thrones Season 4 to bed. But until then... we love you. We're making you a better geek, one post at a time, one cast at a time, one video at a time, god damn it, because we are entertainmentboo.com. I'll catch you later. I'm out.
Go on, piss off.
Arrivederci.